The Colts are in a bit of a rough streak right now. We are decidedly the worst defense in football. We are on a 4-game losing streak. But there is one piece of good news that should be celebrated. Jonathan Taylor is back into the lineup finally. Our offense, though still, performing at a decent rate, is just not the same without him in the lineup. He's such a weapon for us. So glad to have him back. Health has kind of been a concern for him, and it's bit him once more this season. But again, glad to have him back. If you take a look at some of the stats and awards, I've been looking at these. He, of course, is not going to be towards the top of the league. In fact, he's not even the number one on his own team due to him being out for 5 games. But he does actually lead the league in terms of average per game, so it's clear how much of an impact he has when he plays for us. Glad to have him back. Some more nuggets from the stats. They're all going to be offensive focused because our defense is so bad. But as you can see here, Tyler Warren leads all tight ends in terms of receiving yards this year. As a rookie coming in, usually this position can take some time, but Brock Bowers last year, Tyler Warren this year, they're hitting the ground running. And that is beautiful to see. Another something to glean here is that we also have a league leader for his position in terms of Anthony Richardson, 3 yards more than Lamar Jackson. He currently leads all quarterbacks in terms of rushing yards. And as a matter of fact, he is 5th in the NFL for MVP voting. So it's pretty clear that this is the guy that we're going to be rebuilding around going into next year. We're not going to be drafting quarterback. So we'll be building the offense around his skill set, which has been fun to do this year, and I'm excited to continue to do it. But my focus for this episode is to get rid of this losing streak. We have a bye in week 11. I'd love to have a win heading into the bye because our week 12 matchup against Kansas City is going to be a loss. I am fairly confident in that. Will the return of Jonathan Taylor signal the end of the Colts' losing streak? We are certainly better with him on the team, and our offense should be better, although it wasn't really the offense that was the problem during his absence. It was certainly not as good without JT, but it's been the defense that has been the cause for concern. My plan today defensively is just in general to be more aggressive, putting our defensive backs at the line of scrimmage, sending more blitzes, because things just have to change, and that's really going to be probably my strategy for the rest of the season. Here we get the sack despite not sending any additional pressure, something we have not been good at doing. Play action helped give JT Tuimoloau some time to get to the quarterback. Now on 3rd and 19. We're going to send a 4-man pressure here, and I put pressure in air quotes because we got nowhere near Michael Penix despite all the time in the world. But the coverage was good on the back end, so a 3 and out. That's the kind of start we're looking for. 1st and 10 here. The give right away is to Jonathan Taylor. Excited to have him back in the lineup, and he will be used heavily today. And his first rush goes for 10 yards and a first down. Play action here. Richardson felt some heat and immediately evades, and he has a lot of room down to the 26-yard line. Back to Jonathan Taylor on 1st and 10. He's got a big hole, a great block by Tyler Warren, and the stiff arm will spring him for 6. We have seen a couple of these long runs from Jonathan Taylor just capped off by some sick stiff arms, but you have to shout out Tyler Warren for an excellent block downfield as well. What a play, all on the ground and in a hurry too for the first touchdown. 2nd and 1. We have another very talented running back on the other side of the field in this game. And down goes Michael Penix, courtesy of DeForest Buckner, getting to the quarterback with a great pass rush win. 3rd and 3. Penix. He's going for Drake London, and he's got the catch and is down to the 32-yard line. We were right there in coverage, but Drake London, of course, a very big-bodied receiver, has the capability of boxing defenders out. The drive keeps going here for Atlanta through a Kyle Pitts reception. Now 2nd and 10 in the red zone. We send the blitz, and Kenny Moore gets home. That's 3 sacks already for this Indy defense. And that's what you like to see. 3rd and 17 now. Penix will drop back once more, evading to his left, throwing on the run and finding Drake London. But short of the sticks, Atlanta will settle for a chippy field goal here to get on the board. Underneath, we're going to get Jonathan Taylor involved in the air as well on a lot of these underneath routes. Going a little bit more to the passing game here after doing it all on the ground in the first drive. Another underneath throw for Michael Pittman moves the chains once again. RPO, 3rd and 2. The give is to Taylor, but a nice pursuit by the rookie Jalen Walker will make it 4th down, but the Colts offense is hurrying to the line. Jonathan Taylor is a bit tired right now in his return, but we're going to go back to him, and the blocking was good enough. 5 for 52 early for Jonathan Taylor. RPO once more. This time it's Tyler Warren up the seam. And Indy is inside the 10 here as the first quarter is winding down. Under center, the give on the stretch to Jonathan Taylor. He outruns A.J. Terrell to the corner, turns the edge, and turns it into a touchdown. Already 2 touchdowns in the return of Jonathan Taylor. You could tell just how much more potent our run game is with his speed and power behind what is a good offensive line here in Indianapolis. Man in motion, play action for Atlanta, going underneath to Kyle Pitts, who broke a tackle and got 1st down yardage. Heavy package for the Falcons now, and they're going to run outside. The blocking held up great for Robinson, who on the final play of the first quarter, will get a 1st down. 2nd quarter begins. And juking is Bijan Robinson, but down he goes in the backfield. There is a Colt shaken up on the play, though. But 3rd and 12, going deep for Drake London, and Travarius Ward knocks it away. He's been mossed by some smaller receivers, so that was definitely nerve-wracking, but able to knock it out of the hands of Drake London there. Read option. Keeper for Anthony Richardson. He's got some big space down to the 21-yard line, cutting through the Atlanta Falcons defense. The run game is looking smooth. 1st and 10, screen for Jonathan Taylor. What a block by Quentin Nelson. What a stiff arm into the end zone, and we already have a hat trick for Jonathan Taylor. We're not even halfway through the 2nd quarter. Boy, are we happy to have him back. And it's like his return has also juiced up the defense as well, because they're having their best half that we have seen so far in any of the games that we've watched. Maybe the best defense is a good offense. You never know, because our offense is humming. Back on defense now, and under center, play action for Penix. He's got time and has a man crossing the field. It's Darnell Mooney. Tackle after the catch by Kenny Moore, who just Got beat by a step. Back to Darnell Mooney here for another first down. Now in scoring range, and DeForest Buckner blew that play up in the backfield. He's had a couple of highlight plays here in the first half. Been kind of, I wouldn't say disappointed with DeForest Buckner, but hoping for more performances like this, I'd say, where he's a little bit more disruptive, and just the front in general is having their best game of the season. We forced Atlanta to a field goal, but it is wide right. And the Colts offense has great field position to start this next drive. And the RPO works to perfection. That's my favorite RPO in the game. Also the one that has Tyler Warren running up the seam. Those are both excellent RPO plays. Nice throw on the run there from Anthony Richardson. Now, with time, finds Josh Downs on the out route. Had he found him a half a second earlier, it may have been a touchdown. Faking to Jonathan Taylor. Now Anthony Richardson's going to take it himself, leaping into the end zone. And that's the fourth first half touchdown for the Colts offense. They have not been stopped once by Atlanta so far. And having a dominant run game just opens up so much for your offense. The Colts have had to lean more on Anthony Richardson in JT's absence. And now that he's back, we can get into what the Colts really want to do offensively, and it is working to perfection in the first half. From the 45, Michael Penix drops back to pass, and Kyle Pitts has been a bit of a machine on these underneath routes. 5 first half catches for him. Now the touch pass to Mooney is going to get blown up in the backfield. First there was Cam Bynum, who has done some nice work down near the line of scrimmage, but we of course know his struggles with speed have been one of the problems for us in coverage in the back end. After a great throw to Kyle Pitts here, a loss to Bijan Robinson. 3rd and goal from the 8. It is caught by McLeod. With 12 seconds left in the half, Atlanta will go for it. And it is going to be, I don't know if that was supposed to be a give or a play action, but either way, Tui Maloau got there before the exchange could even happen between Robinson and Penix. No go for the Falcons down at the 1 on 4th and goal, and it is 28-3. Look away, Falcons fans. At least you're on the other side of it now. I guess some hope for a comeback for that team. But it is Indianapolis on the field first. They were a machine on offense in the first half. And they get things going with a nice play to Alec Pierce here. Wide open is Tyler Warren. He's trucking defenders, trying to stiff arm him as well, but eventually taken down at the 13. But Tyler Warren got him down the field, and now he finishes off the drive with a touchdown reception. 35-3. We came into this game having lost 4 straight, and we're up 35-3. I think the losing streak is officially over. We can go ahead and sim the rest of this game. It ends up being 42-17. The Falcons would get a couple of second half touchdowns, but it never really got close in this one. Just from the get-go, it was clear that our defensive line felt like having the best day of the season so far, and Jonathan Taylor was absolutely excellent in his return, and that was just a really fun game to play. I felt like the play calling was where it needed to be, and everything worked out for us in a major way. We are now 4-6 the first 10 games. That's honestly probably about where I expected us to be in the preseason. I just had some hopes when we were 3-2. Then we lost 4 straight, but glad to be back in the win column here today. Richardson ends up 21 for 26, 80%, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. 21 for 132 and 2 touchdowns for Jonathan Taylor. A rushing touchdown for Richardson, as well as some solid yards. 2 touchdown receptions for Tyler Warren, who continues his very strong rookie campaign. 2 sacks each for Buckner and Tuimoloau, 1 for Latu, Kenny Moore, and Grover Stewart, and then a Jalen Jones interception during the simulated second half. We've got LB Breakout Part 2, even though it's LB Breakout Part 6 at this point. Another press conference. The defense had success in some areas today. Yes, it definitely did. He helped immensely. And he still has normal development. Okay, cool. But, I mean, the breakout scenario is taking like all season now. That's something new, and it's literally been the only one we've gotten all season. Not that we've had the best season ever, but with how good Anthony Richardson is playing, I am honestly shocked he hasn't gotten one yet. I'm curious to see how much not having yet had a bye has played into where our NFL ranks are. We're ranked very high offensively and very low defensively. I guess these are per game, so they wouldn't actually be. It's really only the total that gets affected. So strike that point, I guess. But what I did want to show you is kind of an update of what the AFC picture looks like right now. The Chargers are the best team in the conference, which would be awesome for Chargers fans, I'm sure. Our division is actually pretty crazily tight, so we are not by a mile out of it yet. The Jags are the only team in the division with 5 wins, and they're winning the division right now. And so we have played one more game than everybody, so we have one more loss than anybody else in the division right now. The biggest surprise has to be right now the AFC East with Buffalo only 3-6. I don't know what happened to make that the case, but Miami's actually leading that division right now. AFC North is always tough with Cleveland far down below that, which is to be expected here. But there is your AFC picture right now. We're still very much in things. I don't know. Okay, so I think we're good here, although I still want to just do half pads. I think Jacob Phillips will have a injury risk. I'll go into Jacob Phillips here and have him rest. But because whenever I go simulate through a week without going into weekly strategy, they'll take off my focus players, which means I'll get weeks with only 3 focus players. Ooh, we did get some defensive injuries. Unfortunate for those guys. There are no set focus players here unless I'm missing something. I haven't seen it anywhere. So it's either no longer a week 11 or maybe just no longer even a thing here. We will be going through what I think so far of the draft class at the end of this episode. But first, let's simulate this bye week. Nearly got a new level for Shane Steichen here. Yes, I mean, maybe they're changing, just getting better scouts in general rather than focus players, or maybe it was another week and I missed it. I would hope that's not the case. But now we've got week 12 against the 7-3 Kansas City Chiefs. This is not going to be fun, I don't think. They do have some players that are out. Xavier Worthy, the most noteworthy. Drew Tranquil as well. Pretty important player for them. But, yeah, this is going to... I imagine we're not going to be winning this game. I think it's time to start engaging Braden Smith on potential contract negotiations. Just based on how things have gone this year, I think defense is going to be priority in the draft, which means I don't want a glaring hole at right tackle. So I want to see, he, of course, doesn't really want to come back, so we're going to have to entice him, but I'm thinking maybe 2 years at, I mean, let's put this at 6 first. So this would be $17 million per year. He just barely says no. He says, even though I wasn't thinking about returning, that one was tempting. So probably a little extra on that bonus would get us there. $18 million per year to bring back Braden Smith will likely be the price. Now we know the price, and we can continue to find out if we want to pay it. So there you have that. Wanted to at least give it an attempt here prior to this Chiefs game. As expected, the Chiefs beat us handily here, 24-42. I mean, it was honestly close until the fourth quarter, I guess. Jeez. Okay. Patrick Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns on us. Anthony Richardson had 1 and 1. Pacheco had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on us. Jonathan Taylor only got 11 carries for 34 yards and 2 scores. Pittman led us in receiving. Josh Downs not far behind. What a pretty quiet day for Tyler Warren. And sacks-wise, Latu keeps his sack streak going, though, which you love to see. The interception was from Charvarius Ward. We got a few deflections and ultimately lost this game in the fourth quarter, which the fact that we were leading heading into the fourth is surprising enough. We just choked it. Now let's talk for the first time about the upcoming draft. Now, I have done my first kind of overview of the top of the draft, and this is what I have found in terms of players that I like. These top 2 players that are top 5, we're not going to take either of these guys. They're at positions that I'm not taking in the first round of this draft, and we're not going to be in a position likely to have a pick for them anyway. I just wanted to highlight them because I think they're both going to be very good. Archer Sands is the current top projected pick in the class. He has a massive arm. He's got really good accuracy ratings. Under pressure looks good as well. Awareness, the whole 9 yards. So I think we're going to get a very good quarterback into the league. I think the last mock draft had him going to the Browns at number 2 overall. I think that'd be a good pick for them. And then even though he's 23 years old, I think this running back's going to be pretty sweet. He'll be fairly athletic, and then he just has some sick ratings off the bat. So probably going to have another sick running back coming into the league after Ash and Genty year. So starting here is where I'm starting to think about guys that, I could actually take. I think this Gresham guy is also probably out of our range. He's also only 5'8", but could certainly add some speed onto a team that desperately needs it. He's definitely a deep threat only kind of guy, but I'm not sure with where we are if offense in the first round is really going to be my priority. It will depend on how the season finishes out, because I do think wide receiver is a position that I would love to draft early. I just think based on where this team is, defense has to be priority here. I like Marshall Jennings as a potential Michael Pittman replacement. He's got a lot of A to B's there. His route running is pretty solid. His hands are excellent. And there have been times where Michael Pittman's let me down this year. So, again, I'm not sure wide receiver round 1's really what I'm looking for. But if it is, I think we have options. Elijah Dean, he doesn't have hands. He's F catching. But usually in this game, that's somewhere in the 70s. It's not like 50s. So even F catching is like one of the ratings if I have to take an F. He's another guy who's also going to be an absolute burner of a receiver. Definitely another kind of deep threat only. We'll get some of these true talents on these receivers. I think as we continue on, we should get more information. I don't think you top out at 80 this year if you have it all lined up correctly. If you do, that would be a big change, and I'd have to adjust my scouting strategy. But speed in the secondary is something I'm absolutely looking at, and in terms of early round prospects, that's going to be Ben Love at corner, 5'11", 180, a little bit undersized, and he's definitely a zone specialist. I actually don't mind that coming out of the draft for prospects because that means that I get to upgrade the archetypes that I like to upgrade more. But that great to good speed is just as good as it gets from the corner spot. His injury's low. You don't love that. His press is low. And again, his man's only average. But he's an excellent zone corner with speed. The other corner, early round corner that's on my board, he's a taller guy here in Tyrone Sally. He's also younger. We just don't know how good he is. We do have the ability to focus in on players. I think one of them is going to be Sally, because if he's, another excellent zone corner, kind of like we got with Ben Love. I don't know why this always comes up blank. It's kind of annoying if I'm being honest. We know his archetype is zone, so that helps him. I kind of would need that to be an A, and then he'd be kind of on the same tier as Ben Love. If it's not an A, then Ben Love is easily the best corner. In terms of safety, there's a couple of decently athletic safeties here. Jason McNeil is a good athlete. He's a little injury prone and doesn't have really much in the way of A's, but I feel like safeties are often guys that have just a bunch of B's in my experience. And then Keenan Devine, 21 years old, 6'1", and pretty good athlete there. So those are the secondary. I think getting speed in the secondary, after seeing us get cooked consistently, just has to be a priority. In case we don't re-sign, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but in case we have a tackle need, Jeremy Banks is a tackle that I like. Elite to great strength, above average in terms of his athleticism and showing some decent blocking ratings. And then Chad McCree. I usually don't love drafting 23-year-old offensive lineman, but he's kind of the only good athlete offensive lineman, and he's got a couple of A's on his card that he's manifesting so far. The best offensive lineman I've seen in this class is Luis Lopez, though. 21 years old, good athlete, and just all A's so far. I think Luis Lopez is going to be an absolute stud at center, and that's a position that we need to upgrade. I have a tight end here. I know we just took Tyler Warren, but I honestly think Evan Coleman's one of the best players in the class athletically. So we use Mo Alley Cox a decent bit. So as a second round pick, maybe. Obviously, I'm not going first round tight end 2 years in a row. That'd be kind of crazy. But second round, if some of our higher priority positions are gone, I could see it. But unlikely. I just wanted to shout out another player that I think is going to be good. There's a linebacker that I like here in Jonathan Trevino. Elite to great speed. Again, I'm highly prioritizing speed when I'm looking at these defensive prospects. And then the one guy who's down below. So I've only gone mostly through kind of the first 3 rounds. And he's not quite as fast as the other guy, but some really solid ratings here for Caleb Erickson. And he's the one guy who you could reliably get in the 3rd round of this group. So I think we've got some options. I honestly think the draft is a little bit stronger offensively than it is defensively, which goes against kind of what we need to do in this draft. I picked the Colts with the idea that I could really draft anywhere, but it's kind of feeling like I almost need to lean defensively in this first draft for sure. Even though, at least like a Luis Lopez, I'd love to snag if we don't get anybody else offensively towards the top of this class. There you have it. In terms of guys I'd like more information on, I think Sally is easily one. Other than that, I'd love to get just the true value on another one of these DBs. I think corner probably more than safety. So Sally, let's go ahead and set those right now. Focus player. Let's go to our favorites. We'll definitely pick from among here. Love. Okay, that's not apparently the button you press. So it's Y to select. Okay, good to know. Good to know. This guy for sure. And then trying to think who's very likely to be high on my board. I mean, this tackle, just in case we decide not to re-sign Braden Smith. I think that's probably going to be what we go with. A couple corners and a tackle in terms of our extra scouting, because we're getting extra scouting on some of the on all these receivers. So there you have it. That's what I'm looking at towards the draft. If there's anybody that I showed you that stuck out to you, let me know. And we'll keep on keeping on with this season. That loss to the Chiefs certainly makes our division odds look worse, but we're playing Houston in week 13, which will be next episode. We have a lot of division games to go. We have not played the Houston Texans or the Jaguars yet, so we have 2 games each against the 2 teams that are 6-5 and at the top of our division. So this division is by no means over yet, and it's going to be shaken out in the next couple of episodes. That's all I got for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with another, and I'll see you then. Go Colts.